At 15 years old, Cristiano Ronaldo's heart wasn't beating the way it should. Doctors told him he needed heart surgery immediately. A catheter guided through a blood vessel, all the way to his heart to correct a dangerous rhythm. If they got it wrong, football would end before it ever really began. They got it right. Before the Ballon d'Ors. Before Real Madrid. Before the Champions League nights that filled stadiums with his name. There was an operating table. He walked out of that hospital and went back to training within days, not because he was told to, because he couldn't imagine doing anything else. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born in 1985 in a small hillside home in Funchal on the Portuguese island of Madeira. His father, Jose, worked as a kitman for a local football club, tending equipment for players he could never afford to watch from better seats. His mother, Dolores, cooked and cleaned to hold the family together. There were 4 children, and not always enough food for all of them. His father loved him, but alcoholism slowly took him away, 1 year at a time. It was never hidden from the children, and it was never easy to live with. Football was the one place where life finally made sense. By age 8, Ronaldo was already turning heads at a local club and arena, the same team his father worked for. Coaches noticed something they couldn't quite name, not just speed, hunger. At 12, Sporting Lisbon's academy took a chance on him and brought him to the mainland, away from his island, his mother, his brother, his sisters. A 12-year-old boy, alone in a dormitory, crying himself to sleep some nights, calling home when he could afford to. The other boys mocked his accent. They called him a country kid. He fought back, sometimes literally, earning a reputation as difficult before he'd earned one as gifted. Then he trained, and the mockery stopped mattering. He wasn't homesick anymore. He was hungry. By 16, he was training with Sporting's first team, dismantling defenders twice his age with a combination of speed and technique that made grown professionals stop and watch. In August of 2003, Sporting hosted Manchester United in a friendly to open their new stadium. Ronaldo, 18 years old, tore the match apart. United's players walked into the locker room afterward and told their manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, one simple thing: they had to sign him. Ferguson did. Within weeks, Ronaldo was a Manchester United player, given the legendary number 7 shirt, a number that had belonged to Beckham, to Cantona, to Best. He wasn't ready for it. Not yet. His first seasons in England were flashy and inconsistent, full of stepovers that dazzled crowds but frustrated teammates who wanted the final pass, not the trick. Critics called him a showman without substance. Then, in September 2005, his father died. Liver failure, the final cost of years of drinking. Ronaldo was 20 years old, thousands of miles from Madeira, carrying a grief his father never got to see him outgrow. He didn't take time away. He went back to training within days. Something changed after that. The flair stayed, but it stopped being the point. He became relentless about the parts of the game no one applauds: the extra sprints, the gym sessions before dawn, the diet, the recovery, the obsession with being better tomorrow than he was today. By 2007, he wasn't just talented, he was the best player in Europe. A Ballon d'Or followed in 2008. Then a world record transfer to Real Madrid in 2009, a move that put unbearable weight on a 24-year-old's shoulders. Madrid expected greatness. Ronaldo delivered something football had never quite seen. Season after season, the numbers climbed until they stopped sounding real. 40 goals, then 50, then 60 in a single season. Records stopped being milestones. They became expectations. The impossible slowly became routine. He didn't just meet them, he obliterated them. 9 seasons in Madrid. 450 goals, more than any player in the club's history. 4 Champions League titles. 4 more Ballons d'Or. And do it all, a rivalry with Lionel Messi that would define a generation of football. Football may never witness another rivalry like it. Every goal from Messi demanded an answer. Every answer from Ronaldo forced both men to reach even higher. Together, 2 players on opposite ends of a continent changed what greatness was allowed to look like. There were setbacks along the way. Injuries that would have ended lesser careers. Seasons where critics declared him finished, too old, past his peak. Each time he answered on the field, not in interviews. With Portugal, the story took longer to arrive. Small nation, huge expectations, years of near misses. Then, in 2016, in the European Championship final, Ronaldo went down injured in the first half and had to be carried off the pitch in tears. He didn't disappear into the locker room to grieve what he'd lost. He put on a bib and coached from the sideline, screaming instructions, refusing to let his team's chance slip away without him. Portugal won. His first major international trophy came not from a goal he scored, but from a fight he refused to leave. Even from the sidelines, he kept playing. Juventus. Back to Manchester United. Then, Al-Nassr in Saudi Arabia, a move many assumed was a retirement in disguise. Instead, he kept scoring, kept training like a teenager chasing his first contract, kept climbing toward a number no player in the history of the sport had ever reached. Still chasing what once seemed impossible, 1,000 career goals. Now, well into his 40s, he continues to compete at the highest level, still running the same sprints, still demanding the ball in the biggest moments, still the boy from Madeira who refused to sit still after heart surgery. He holds the record for the most goals ever scored for a national team, more than any man in the history of the game. Not because he was the most naturally gifted player of his generation. Natural talent alone could never explain what he became. He got there because he refused, every single day, to be satisfied. At 15, doctors wondered whether his heart would even allow him to become a footballer. The doctors fixed his heart. Everything that followed he built himself. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't become great because life was easy. He became great because every obstacle became another reason to keep going. Maybe greatness was never about talent alone. Maybe it was always about deciding every single day to become better than yesterday. Cristiano Ronaldo decided who he was going to become, and he never stopped deciding it